Hello. I hope you're doing well. You, plural. um, this is most likely coming out of nowhere, but for some people who are more in the know, uh, this will just be a an attempt at honesty and transparency in my regard. Um, as you can tell, I'm a little shaky. Um, Dealing and talking and experiencing these things is very difficult, so please forgive me if at times I'm a little. I really truly am trying to keep it together as best as I can. However, this is an attempt at transparency. That's why I've been streaming for the past 7 days. Is because it was accountability and transparency. That was the goal. I always had this view when I was struggling in the past of an accountability stream for myself to be able to hold myself accountable to the things that I wanted to accomplish or the way that I wanted to take care of myself in my life. However, just to pull back the veil, my life has been held up by stilts. Uh, well, quite a lot has happened in my life, and I guess I'll just go by the data points, and hopefully we'll get to the conclusion in a nice and succinct manner. My trauma has made me relentlessly distrustful of people, um, and I have made efforts to improve my circumstances throughout the years. Um, During my time living nearby the city of Philadelphia, you see and experience and hear and learn about some really horrid things, and things that a lot of people at this point in time would not be so surprised of. It, well, the kind of, how do I want to put it? It's very hard for people that deal with that kind of environment to be shocked or surprised by the horrid things that humanity is capable of. I'm at this point in time in the same place of struggle I was back in Kentucky. Some people may have known a little bit about that, just to go a bit into it. I was dealing with a lot of mental health issues that was not getting the proper care, and basically I was given medication to fix a problem and to report back if there were issues. I would have just immensely consistent suicidal thoughts, and the worst nightmares I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. Um, Dealing with that and being told, no, this is normal and this is perfectly fine. Uh, and also to be told that the person that I need to speak to with it, being a professional or the person that was coordinating my medication, was unavailable for weeks at a time. Uh, it was like I was just given poisoned and told to drink it. It will make me feel better, even if it irreparably harms me. And at the time, I was living with my dad, who, when he even heard about the idea of me not taking medication, would get angry. And I, for the life of me, at that point in my life, couldn't deal with it. So I left. And I took all the money that I had. I had a friend who had property out in Kentucky. It was a shed and a field. That was basically it. They had a hose and a couple of amenities that were there to keep me going for a little bit. However, it was just me, no electricity, you know, barely any connection to the outside world whatsoever. No toiletries, so I pooped in buckets. Pooped in holes for the first time I was there because I didn't have any buckets. Uh, um, Well, I just didn't think to poop in buckets. I'm sure there was a bucket in the shed. um, but I was out there for 3 months. Got a job as a pizza delivery driver. Got a job as an Amish Uber driver. Did that for a while, and until I realized that my situation wasn't improving. The efforts that I made to push my progress forward halted maybe day two. uh, I Because then it was just me sitting with the shockwaves and the drawbacks of everything that I've dealt with up to that point in time. And then I was alone, relentlessly alone. So I feel like I am in the same place back then in 2001 that I feel like I'm there now. I'll go into a little bit of detail about it. And maybe the reasons why some of these things might be the case. Uh, I had a lot of drug use when I was growing up. I had a place, and my place was one that a lot of people would come to and bring whatever they had. I can name probably over 14, 15 drugs that I've done in my life, and some that are a little harder than I'd like to go into detail about. um, but at some point, it stopped being the way that we coalesced and partied and communicated and relaxed and relieved stress. It became the way to cope. And that escalated and evolved over time to really unfortunate results. Um, you know, at that time I had a strained relationship with my sister, had a very strained relationship with my father. Uh, I was having a strained relationship with my mother. Um, but they all knew who I was. They all knew I'm still the same guy. I still have the same big heart that I've always had. That, I don't know, maybe it's my grandma's fault. um, Sorry, I keep seeing a word in the peripheral vision, and it just makes me shake, which is not fun. But I talk about the hard stuff so that I can illuminate the struggles that I have dealt with, and to be, I don't want to say an example, that's the wrong word. I suppose I want to look back on this as a story of triumph. So, because my desire to improve my life circumstances, I am more serious about it now than I ever have been. And even though pushing through the hard parts is really difficult, I am still making efforts to go for it every day. I'm going to go back to my notes. Uh, some people know about my employment and the job that I had. I won't go into detail about it. If you know, you know. There were events that triggered my relapse of drug use. I was sober when I moved here. Um, I was sober for about 4.5 months, around that. There was an event that brought back a lot of trauma that I just couldn't really cope with. So I resorted to drugs because it's what I knew. It's what I knew that could help the situation that I was in at that time. It wasn't the right choice. It wasn't a smart choice. But I'll stay on topic. There were events that triggered the relapse of my drug use. During my employment, I always felt the mounting pressure of despair. Whether it felt like somebody could walk in and point a gun in my face, or something internally could just go horribly wrong, Um, it always felt like I had to protect myself, my dog, and every single person that was involved in that space. It was important to me. It became my purpose. It became my driving force forward at the cost of my personal health and well-being. Just flat out. I have a developmental disorder. It's hard for me to talk about. I have Asperger's syndrome. Um, it basically, the way I describe it to people in the most simple way possible, it's a high functioning form of autism. Um, let's say you have a constellation. You start at one star and you go to the next one, you go to the next one, you go to the next one, you go to the next one. They all lead somewhere. But once you get to that final point, you completely forget where you started. That's something that needs work. A lot of consistent work to be able to prevent people from going down rabbit holes that are just unseemly. Knew a dude with Asperger's syndrome that just believes that we should have a monarchy. If you're listening, I'm never gonna send you a picture of my dick. Fucking get it together, man. Either way. Um, Having a developmental disorder and being in an environment that was really difficult. You lived in fear and skepticism and suspicion and cynicism and harsh reality every day. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the things that have negatively impacted me onto where I've gotten to this point in my life where it becomes a matter of self-destruction. And that's a real big word I'm using there. However, at this point, I think it'd just be irresponsible to not listen to the words of my peers. So past this point, we're going to get a lot heavier. So if you want to cut everything now, go for it. This is the point where you can stop the video and say, okay, he's making efforts to improve his situation. That's great. Move past it. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds. When I was younger, I didn't understand a lot. I understood that I wanted to make people happy. I didn't understand about my own happy or my own safety. Nothing really came into account. It led to trusting people that I thought had my best intentions at heart. I've been raped multiple times in my life by, I'm not gonna name anything, just it's off the table. But dealing with that and having to relive that, being somebody with PTSD, feel it very vividly and viscerally in the moments where I am reminded of it. For an example, one of my trigger words is relax. There's a good reason for that, and we just will never go into it. But it's just to say that there's a vehement part of my being that will never hurt somebody on purpose, because I know what it's like to be taken advantage of, and I know what it's like to be hurt. So, we're going to move forward with more heavy things, to kind of get more to the root cause. There were events that occurred in my early 20s that forever changed the world I perceived. I I was drowning in despair constantly. Constantly. It was like every 10 minutes, less than that, 5 minutes, it really depended on the day, I would be reminded of the atrocities and the amount of evil and despicable things that the human experience is capable of. Even despite this, giving the best parts of myself away, because I learned during that time what people deal with. I was always like this growing up because it hurt to make people sad. I was a very empathetic person. I still am. Oh my god. I am such a goddamn empathetic person. It hurts sometimes. But if people, well, my thought was, if people deal with this behind the scenes, I need to be a positive force for them, no matter what. No matter what. Because of the energy that I would give to others and not give to myself, because of the experiences that plagued my mind and my being for all of my young adult life. Again, having a developmental disorder, it'll really fuck with you. Turns out, fun fact, men with developmental disorders are more likely to be sexually abused. Wish I knew that long time ago. It ended up, the end result was that I stopped caring for myself in the way that I knew was right. I stopped caring for myself in the way that I knew was correct. Because I know better. God fucking damn it, I do. Ooh. Ooh, fucking damn it, I do. I know better. The despair was weighty. And the weight that I carried, I did it alone. Let's take a deep breath. The difficult stuff is past us. It's hard to discuss things because they elicit very negative emotions. However, at times, we need to experience these things not precisely, but to, well, I'll give you a quote that I sent a person, unnamed individual, a long time ago. The last thing I ever said to them. The only time to look back is to see how far you've come. Let's move forward with the positives. I've been recovering for years. I've been in recovery for years with the help of my peers. I'm going to name a specific server. Well, two of them. Shouts out to the Dr. Mario Discord. Big shouts out to Stavino. Big shouts out to Totally Butts for... Got a whack ass name, bro. You gotta change your name, bro. You can be who you want, dude. I'm not gonna fucking judge you for shit, bro. Oh my man, you want me to fucking stay here to judge you? I'm not judging you for shit, bro. I don't got it in me. um, for developing and cultivating a safe space for people who play Dr. Mario in Super Smash Bros. Melee. I played Super Smash Bros. Melee alone for 3 or 4 years of my life, and then Slippy came out, and all of a sudden, I was just in the community. Just like that. Crazy. It's crazy. And the people that were there really helped me believe in myself. I think there were times where I felt, well, that I scorned myself more than anything else. I think I just saw other people in the Smash community come from a place of judgment and resentment. And I had that towards myself. So I think it came out in a positive way because, like I said, I always give the best parts of myself to others, and especially at that point in my life. So thank you to those two, and thank you to every single person that's been a part of the Sonic Riders Tournament Edition community. If I think about the gratitude that I have for everybody, that's the thing that makes me cry. Because I love you motherfuckers. You work hard because you know that there's something to work hard on and that there's people that can benefit from that hard work. And it might seem small to others, it might seem inconsequential to some people. It meant the world. I hope you understand me when I say that. Seeing and interacting and being with other people that I opened myself up to, that I was able to help cultivate a space of positivity and kindness and respect. It meant the world to see that energy reciprocated in a meaningful way. It meant the world. I don't know what the fuck I would be without some niche 2007 remake mod of a game. I have no idea. I wouldn't have a sobriety date, that's for damn sure. Thank you. If any one of you, I'm not gonna name drop a single one of you motherfuckers, because if you've made a positive impact on me, you know who the fuck you are. Thank you. I've been in recovery for years. You've helped me recover. Thank you. And I've grown tremendously. I have the best head on my shoulders I could ever ask for. I, you know, there's some times where my habits will be the defining factor in my judgment. And old habits die hard. It's just the truth. But I have the best head on my shoulders I could ask for. And I believe this strongly because yeah, I won't go more into it. I'll inflate my ego, and I don't want that. I'm very happy with the mentality and perspective and the person that I am today. Extremely. Even though I'm suffering, even though I'm struggling, even though I'm at a transitionary point in my life, I'm grateful, so grateful for the experiences that have made me for the person who I am. And another positive, there are people who care for me, so I must care for me. This is the perspective that I've been moving forward with, and something that I feel has been the strongest determining factor of caring for myself for once, because I stopped caring for myself a long time ago. So I know there's people that care for me, so I must care for me. And I've been wanting. It's funny, there was a book that I put down back in Kentucky, 2001, in August. And it was funny to see that bookmark written down last day, because I wanted to be sober. I wanted to get away from drugs. I didn't. I didn't for another 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 3 years. And because of all these things, I'll never be uncertain of my convictions again. I know what is right. It's not to be self-righteous. It's just to say I've had a lot of experience that informs my perspective and knowledge. A lack of ignorance, I suppose you could say. To where I can't turn away from the shit that I know is wrong. Especially about the way that I care about myself. Sometimes it was just easier. No. Well, yeah. Sometimes it was harder, but old habits die hard. And I'll be true to my word. I can't overcommit. I tend to do that by accident. Quite often. I used to do it a lot. I would overcommit about the resources that I had available to me, and it would end poorly. Because if I'm not an individual of my word, then my words mean nothing. So I'll be a little careful with my commitments, I suppose. Just a bit more, you know. I'll tell you my commitments to myself. No more living in fear or sadness. My anger will drive me. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I was speaking with an individual about some of the experiences that I had in my life and the anger that was boiling in my stomach because of it, in my heart, in my chest, in my throat, in my hands, in my head. It feels like I'm passing out. But it's because I know despair that I can be a being of love and relentlessly express that to anybody I meet. Well, when, well, let's just say I don't have enough for everybody. I'm very considerate. I suppose that's the best way I can put it. You know, I make a habit of being a positive part of people's everyday. And I still will continue to do that. Of course, it's who I am. I will just care for myself and not let what has happened define the rest of my life. I will get help. that I've struggled to get. Um, I've called a lot of places back home, and I've contacted places here as well. However, when the hurdles would appear, I would shy away because I was unable to fight for myself. I only felt despair. I felt a despair and a relinquishment of the possibility of improvement or the idea of not doing it by myself. I'll never give up. I will stay. I will stay determined. I will be the person I was meant to be, proudly, but quietly. I would like to take some time for myself and live true to myself in silence. Well, maybe not in silence, but I need some damn space. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Maybe I need more people. Maybe I need more. I don't know. Let me I will be the person I was meant to be, proudly and quietly. This is all to say I'm not going to be a fucking prick about my growth. Okay? If I come in with less of a muffin top than I had before, which by the way, doing pretty good. um, you know, I won't get an ego about it. I'm very careful about that. I will speak up against bigotry, but I will pick my battles because not every battle is worth fighting, and not every opponent was meant to be defeated. And I suppose I will need to sit with this feeling of an oncoming malaise that I feel will permeate society. But that's me being a prophetic bitch. You know, in the end, I feel like we will end up with a more informed and a more capable generation of people that can drive things forward in a meaningful direction. Real, palpable, progressive change. But I'll pick my battles when dealing with motherfuckers. Okay, quick story time, alright? I heard about. Never mind, fuck it. They don't deserve my fucking mental capacity, alright? I see it, I say shit. You see shit, you say shit. That's the deal. And be honest and transparent with myself and others. I won't lie about the state of my being or the struggles I'm dealing with or the feelings that I have towards something. I will, for the love of God, not worry about hurting people all the time. Because that's what I'm really scared of. My words have negatively impacted people even though they've had good intentions in the past. That's why I'm so careful. I'm so careful. And that's why when when things aren't reciprocated, I just back the fuck off. Because I can't risk it. I can't risk me hurting somebody. But I won't live in fear, in sadness. And I will be honest and transparent with myself and others. So at the end of all this, it's I wrote down a little bit of thing. I know I can. I know I'm capable. I know I can be stable, self-sufficient. I know that I can care for myself in the way that I know is right. I have tried to change for a long time, so I'll do it. I'll show myself I can do it. What I deal with isn't unique or special. It's a different form of what others deal with every day. I'll give myself space for now, just to get it together. Then I'll return as me. Not as the trauma, not as the drugs, not as the despair. But the me I was meant to be, a being of love and respect.